tonight we slip quietly through a rain-soaked street where the world feels softened at the edges, as if someone has turned the brightness down just a little too low, and the only thing guiding you forward is the gentle shimmer of streetlights reflecting on wet pavement. You pull your jacket closer, not dramatically. This isn't a movie, but just enough to convince yourself you're handling the cold like a responsible human being, even though, let's be honest, you probably won't survive this level of cozy temptation without immediately wanting to fall asleep. If you genuinely enjoy my stories, take a moment to like the video and subscribe. Let's ease into tonight's journey together. The rain taps steadily around you. Not harsh, not angry, just persistent, like it has nowhere else to be, and all the time in the world to fall. Each drop lands with a soft rhythm that blends into a kind of natural lullaby. You walk a little slower now, not because you have to, but because rushing suddenly feels unnecessary, like the night itself is quietly suggesting you take it easy for once. Ahead, a soft golden glow spills onto the sidewalk, warm, inviting, almost suspiciously perfect. The kind of place that feels like it exists just for this exact moment. A small cafe, tucked between darker buildings, its window slightly fogged from the warmth inside. You hesitate for half a second, not because you're unsure, but because there's something oddly comforting about standing in the rain, letting the world blur around you. But eventually, common sense, or maybe just your dislike of being wet, wins, and you reach for the door. A soft chime greets you as you step inside. Instantly, everything changes. The rain becomes distant, like it's happening in another world. The air wraps around you, warm and gentle, carrying the rich scent of coffee and something faintly sweet, maybe pastries, maybe cinnamon, maybe the kind of smell that makes you feel like life is going to be okay, at least for the next hour. You exhale without realizing you are holding your breath. Somewhere in the corner, a piano plays soft, slow notes drifting through the room, not demanding attention, not showing off, just existing like a quiet companion to the night. You pause near the entrance for a moment, letting your eyes adjust. The cafe isn't crowded, just a few scattered people, each wrapped in their own little world. Someone reading by the window, another person staring into a cup like it holds the meaning of life, and honestly, it might. You shake a bit of rain from your sleeves gracefully, of course, definitely not like a confused dog, and step further inside. The floor creaks slightly under your shoes, not in an alarming way, but in that reassuring, lived-in way, like this place has been here for years, quietly collecting moments and memories. The barista glances up and gives you a small, knowing smile, not overly cheerful, not forced, just the kind of expression that says, "Yeah, rainy nights bring people like you in here all the time." You return the smile, because it feels like the right thing to do, and also because ignoring someone in a cozy cafe might actually be illegal. Probably not, but it should be. You step up to the counter, the menu written in soft chalk above. The letters are slightly uneven, like they were written by someone who cares more about the feeling than perfection. You don't rush your decision. There's no need. The rain continues its steady rhythm outside, and the piano gently fills the silence between thoughts. Time feels slower here, not stopped, just stretched. Eventually you order something warm, something simple, the kind of drink that feels less like a choice and more like a quiet agreement with the night. You step aside, waiting as the barista prepares it. The soft sounds of cups and steam blend with the music. It's oddly mesmerizing. Watching something so ordinary feels so calming. When your drink is ready, you wrap your hands around it instinctively. The warmth seeps into your fingers, grounding you in the present moment. And for a second, that's all there is. Warmth, sound, and the faint, comforting hum of life continuing gently around you. You glance around again, this time more slowly. There's a seat by the window. Of course there is, because every cozy night scene apparently follows certain unspoken rules, and honestly, you're not complaining. You make your way over, careful not to disturb the quiet atmosphere. Not that anyone would mind, but it just feels respectful. Like speaking loudly here would somehow break the spell. You sit down, the chair is soft enough to be comfortable, but not so soft that you immediately disappear into it, which is probably for the best. The window beside you is cool to the touch, faintly fogged. Beyond it, the rain continues to fall, turning streetlights into glowing halos. Cars pass occasionally, their headlights stretching into blurred lines across the glass. You take a slow sip of your drink. It's warm, exactly as expected, but also better somehow. Like the combination of rain, music, and quiet has upgraded it without asking. You lean back slightly, letting yourself settle into the moment. There's no urgency here. No notifications, no deadlines, no sudden responsibilities sneaking up on you, just the steady rhythm of rain and the gentle flow of piano notes filling the space between thoughts. You watch a raindrop slide down the window, slowly, hesitantly, as if even it isn't in a hurry to reach the bottom. Another follows, and another, forming small, temporary paths that vanish as quickly as they appear. It's strangely fascinating, or maybe you're just finally allowing yourself to slow down enough to notice things like this. Either way, you don't question it. You take another sip, the warmth spreading a little further this time. Your shoulders relax, almost without permission, the tension you didn't realize you were carrying quietly slipping away. Somewhere behind you, a chair shifts softly, a page turns, a cup is set down with a gentle clink. None of it feels intrusive. It all blends together, forming a kind of background harmony that makes the silence feel full instead of empty. The piano continues, each note spaced just far enough apart to let your thoughts drift between them. You don't try to hold on to any specific idea. You just let them come and go like the raindrops on the glass. And for the first time in a while, that feels enough. You glance outside again, watching as the world moves on without you. And instead of feeling left behind, you feel relieved, like you've stepped out of something for a while. Like you've given yourself permission to simply exist without needing to be anywhere else. Your fingers tighten slightly around the cup, not from cold but from comfort, as if holding on to this moment just a little longer might make it last. But there's no need to force it. The night isn't going anywhere. The rain keeps falling, steady and soft. The cafe remains warm and quiet, and the piano continues its gentle, unhurried melody. You settle a little deeper into your seat, and without even realizing it, your breathing slows to match the rhythm of the rain. You remain by the window, the warmth of the cup still resting between your hands, as if it has quietly decided to stay there forever. And honestly, you're not about to argue with it. Outside, the rain continues its steady rhythm, each drop tracing slow, uneven paths down the glass, turning the entire world into a moving painting. The street beyond feels distant now, not far away in space, but softened, like it belongs to another version of the night, one where people still rush and worry and check the time every 5 seconds. You, however, have clearly made better life choices. You lean slightly closer to the window, your shoulder brushing the cool surface, and watch as a figure hurries past under an umbrella that is doing its best, but not entirely succeeding to keep them dry. Their steps are quick, determined, as if they're chasing something invisible. You wonder where they're going. Not in a dramatic, life-changing way, just a quiet curiosity. Are they heading home, meeting someone, escaping something? Your mind starts to build small stories without asking permission. Maybe they forgot something important and are now on a mission to retrieve it. Or maybe they're just trying to get out of the rain like you were a little while ago, although clearly they haven't discovered this cafe yet, which feels like a missed opportunity on their part. Another sip of your drink, slower this time. Longer, which again is not a bad strategy for a night like this. The piano shifts gently in the background. A slightly different melody now, still soft, still unhurried, but with a hint of something deeper, something that makes you pause mid-thought, without fully understanding why. You don't turn to look at the source. It feels better this way, letting the music exist without needing to see it, like hearing rain without stepping outside. You rest your chin lightly on your hand, elbow against the table, and continue watching the rain perform its slow, hypnotic dance. A car passes by, its headlights stretching into long golden streaks across the glass. For a moment, it feels like the world is moving in slow motion, like everything has agreed to match your pace. And honestly, it's about time. You notice how the window fogs slightly where your breath touches it, a soft blur forming and fading, like the night itself is breathing along with you. Without thinking too much about it, you lift a finger and trace a small line through the fog. It disappears almost immediately, swallowed by the warmth of the café. A temporary mark in a temporary moment. You don't try to draw anything specific. No hearts, no names, no deep philosophical symbols. Just a simple line, because sometimes simple is enough. Behind you, a quiet murmur of conversation drifts through the air. Low voices, careful not to disturb the calm. You can't make out the words, and that somehow makes it better. It's not about what's being said. It's about the presence of it, the reminder that you're not alone. Even as you sit quietly in your own little corner of the night, you shift slightly in your seat, adjusting just enough to get more comfortable. Not because you need to, but because your body is slowly sinking into that familiar, sleepy kind of ease. The kind where everything feels just right. You glance down at your drink again. The surface is still, a faint swirl of steam rising and disappearing into the air. You tilt the cup gently, watching the liquid move in slow, lazy circles. For a second, it becomes the most interesting thing in the world, which, if you think about it, says a lot about how relaxed you've become. You smile to yourself, just slightly, because there's something quietly amusing about finding this much peace in something so simple. Another raindrop races its way down the window, merging with others, creating small, temporary rivers that vanish just as quickly as they form. It's unpredictable, but also completely consistent. Like the rain has its own set of rules that you're not quite meant to understand. You lean back again, letting your head rest gently against the chair. Your gaze softens, no longer focusing on any one detail, just taking in the movement, the light, the quiet. Time continues to stretch. Minutes feel longer, but not in a slow, frustrating way. More like they've been given space to breathe. You don't check the time. You don't feel the need to, because whatever time it is, it feels right. A soft clink draws your attention for a moment. The barista setting down another cup somewhere behind the counter. The sound blends into the background almost instantly, like a small ripple in a calm lake. The piano continues, each note landing gently, like it's careful not to disturb anything. You realize slowly that your breathing has changed. It's deeper now, slower, matching the rhythm of the rain without you even trying. In, out, in, out, in, out. You hadn't planned for that to happen. It just did. And honestly, it feels like your body knew what it needed before you did. You shift your gaze back outside, watching as fewer people pass by now. The street is quieter, emptier, the rain more noticeable without the interruption of movement. It feels like the night is settling in, just like you are. There's a certain comfort in that, like you're not the only one slowing down. You take another sip, finishing the last of your drink without rushing. The warmth fades slightly, but not completely. It lingers, like a memory that hasn't decided to leave yet. You place the cup gently on the table, careful not to make too much noise, not because anyone would mind, but because it feels right to keep things soft. Your hands rest loosely now, no longer needing something to hold onto. and yet you don't feel empty. You feel full in a quiet, understated way, the kind that doesn't need to be announced. The rain continues its steady rhythm, the piano plays on, the cafe hums gently with life, and you remain by the window, watching, breathing, existing, without needing anything more. You stay there, still and unhurried, your gaze drifting between the rain-streaked window and the soft reflections dancing across the glass. The outside world feels even farther away now, as if the rain has gently erased its sharp edges, leaving behind only shapes in motion. Behind you, the quiet murmur of voices becomes just a little more noticeable, not louder, just closer to your awareness, like your mind, now relaxed, is finally willing to listen without trying too hard. You don't turn immediately. Instead, you let the sounds reach you first, a soft laugh, quickly hushed, the low rhythm of someone speaking carefully, choosing their words like they matter, which, in this space, they probably do. Eventually, curiosity nudges you just enough to glance over your shoulder. There's a small table a few steps away, two people sitting across from each other, their posture relaxed, but attentive, like they're sharing something quiet and important, not urgent, not dramatic, just meaningful in that simple human way. You don't stare. You just observe for a moment, the way one of them gently wraps their hands around a cup, mirroring what you were doing not long ago, the way the other nods slowly, eyes focused, fully present. It's a rare kind of attention, the kind that feels almost out of place in the faster parts of life. You turn back to the window, giving them their privacy, but your mind doesn't quite let go of the scene. Instead, it begins to fill in the spaces you couldn't hear. Maybe they're old friends meeting after a long time, catching up on everything and nothing at the same time. Or maybe it's something quieter, something like a conversation that doesn't need many words because so much is already understood. Your thoughts don't rush. They drift slowly like the rain. You imagine other stories too, the person sitting alone near the far corner, their book open but untouched for the last few minutes. Maybe they're reading, or maybe they're just holding the book as an excuse to sit with their thoughts. You understand that feeling more than you expect. Sometimes it's not about the activity, it's about having a place where you're allowed to pause. The piano shifts again, a slightly deeper tone now, still gentle, still calm, but with a softness that feels almost reflective. You close your eyes for a second, just one, letting the sound settle fully without distraction. The notes move slowly, each one lingering just a little longer than expected, like they're not in a hurry to leave either. You open your eyes again, your focus softer now. Everything feels a little more distant, a little more dreamlike, not in a confusing way, just lighter. You rest your hands on the table, fingers loosely intertwined, no need to hold on to the cup anymore. The warmth has already done its job. Your shoulders sink just a bit further, the last bits of tension quietly slipping away without ceremony. You notice how the cafe itself seemed to breathe. Not literally, of course, that would be slightly concerning, but in the way the sounds rise and fall, the way the space holds everything together without effort. The chair moves softly, a cup is lifted, a quiet thank you is exchanged near the counter, all small things, all blending into the same calm rhythm. You glance once more toward the two people nearby. Their conversation continues, but slower now, with longer pauses. Comfortable ones, the kind where silence isn't something to fill, but something to share. You find that comforting, the idea that silence can be enough. Your gaze drifts again, this time toward the barista, moving quietly behind the counter, cleaning, arranging, preparing, each motion steady and unhurried, like they've done this 1,000 times and see no reason to rush through it now. There's a certain peace in repetition, a kind of quiet confidence in knowing what comes next. You turn back to the window once more. The rain hasn't stopped, but it hasn't changed either. Still steady, still soft, a constant presence that asks nothing from you. You follow a single droplet as it slides down the glass, merging with another, then another, until it becomes part of something larger and then disappears completely. It doesn't feel sad, just natural. Your breathing slows even more. In, out, each breath deeper, softer, like your body is slowly preparing for rest without telling you directly. You lean back slightly, your head resting against the chair again. Your eyes half-lidded now, not quite closing but no longer fully focused. The piano continues its quiet melody, the rain its endless rhythm, the voices their soft, distant murmur. Everything blends together, and somewhere in that blend, your thoughts begin to fade at the edges. Not gone, just less defined. You don't try to hold on to them. There's no need. Because right now, in this small cafe, on this rainy night, surrounded by quiet stories and gentle music, being here is enough. You remain settled in your chair, though sitting doesn't quite describe it anymore. It feels more like you've quietly melted into the space, as if the cafe has accepted you as part of its rhythm, not a visitor, not a stranger, just another quiet presence, existing within the night. The window beside you is still traced with rain, though now the droplets seem slower, heavier, like even they are beginning to tire. Or maybe it's just you. Your gaze softens further, no longer following individual drops. Instead, you see the motion as a whole, a gentle blur of movement and light, street lamps glowing through the water like distant stars. You don't think about anything specific. Your thoughts have become wider, less focused, like they're stretching out instead of forming sharp ideas. The warmth from your drink still lingers faintly in your hands, even though the cup now sits untouched on the table, a quiet reminder of something that already did its job. You inhale slowly. The air feels softer now, familiar, carrying hints of coffee, wood, and something faintly sweet that you stopped trying to identify long ago. Behind you, one of the chairs shifts again, a quiet scrape against the floor, followed by the soft sound of footsteps. Someone is leaving. You don't turn to look this time. You don't need to. The small changes in sound are enough. The door opens briefly, and for a moment, the outside world leaks back in. The rain louder, the air cooler. Then the door closes again, and everything returns to calm. It's quieter now. Not empty, just more spacious. The piano continues, though even the melody feels more delicate now, the notes spaced wider apart, like they're giving the silence room to exist between them. You shift slightly in your seat, not to get comfortable, but because comfort has already found you. This is just your body ad. Tilts just a little to the side, resting more fully, your eyelids heavier than before, hovering somewhere between open and closed. You let them stay there, half open, half dreaming. You notice the person in the corner, the one with the book finally turning a page. It takes them longer than expected, not because the page is difficult, but because they too seem to be moving more slowly now, like time has gently loosened its grip on everyone inside this cafe. You find that thought oddly comforting. Like you're all sharing the same quiet pause, without needing to acknowledge it. Your fingers move slightly against the table, a small absent motion, tracing nothing in particular, just feeling the smooth surface beneath them. You're not restless, just aware. Aware of the stillness, aware of the way your breathing has settled into something deeper, slower, steadier. In, out, the rain continues. In, out, the piano follows. In, out, the piano follows. In, out, and somewhere in that rhythm your thoughts drift again. Not into stories this time, not into imagination, but into something quieter, something softer. You remember the feeling of stepping into the cafe earlier, the shift from cold to warmth, from noise to calm. It feels far away now, not because it was long ago, but because you've settled so deeply into this moment that the before feels like another version of the night entirely. You don't miss it, you don't need it, because right now, everything is already here. The soft glow of the lights above you, slightly dim, slightly golden, casting gentle shadows that move just enough to remind you that time still exists. The faint hum behind the counter. Machines resting, not silent, but quiet enough to blend into the background. The presence of others, fewer now but still there, each one wrapped in their own quiet world. And you, somewhere between awake and asleep, present but drifting. You lean back a little more. Your body follows naturally, no resistance, like it's been waiting for permission to relax this completely. Your shoulders drop just a fraction lower. Your jaw loosens. Even your hands rest more heavily against the table, no longer holding themselves up. You don't think about tomorrow. You don't think about earlier. Those thoughts don't feel important here. This place, this moment, doesn't ask for them. It only asks you to be still, to breathe, to exist quietly within it. And so you do. The rain continues its endless pattern, though now it feels softer, like it's further away. Or maybe your awareness has simply drifted inward. The piano plays on, slower, gentler, each note landing like a soft step on water. You don't follow the melody anymore, you float with it. Your eyelids lower slightly more, not fully closed, just enough to blur the edges of everything. The lights soften, the shapes around you lose their sharpness, and the world becomes calm. You remain there, not thinking, not trying, just resting in the quiet rhythm of the night. And as the cafe grows a little quieter, you sink a little deeper into stillness. The stillness settles even deeper now, not in a heavy way, not in a way that presses down on you, but in a soft, almost invisible way, like a blanket you didn't notice being placed over your shoulders. You remain where you are, your body now fully at ease, no part of you trying to adjust or shift. Even the small movements from before have faded, replaced by a quiet, steady calm. The cafe feels different again, not changed, just quieter. The kind of quiet that comes late at night when the world begins to gently power down, one small piece at a time. You notice it in the spaces between sounds. The piano still plays, but the notes feel further apart now, softer, like they're being placed carefully into the air instead of simply played. Each one lingers just a little longer, and you let them. Your breathing continues its slow rhythm. In out, it feels effortless now, like something you don't even need to think about anymore. Outside, the rain has softened further, no longer a steady pattern, but something lighter, more scattered, as if the sky itself is beginning to grow tired. You can still hear it, faintly tapping against the glass, but it no longer draws your attention the way it did before, because your attention is drifting inward. You don't focus on the window anymore, or the people, or even the music. Everything has blended into one gentle background, and you are simply within it. Your head rests a little more to the side, your neck completely relaxed, your eyelids now heavy enough that keeping them open feels like more effort than it's worth. So you don't. You let them close. Not all at once, just slowly, gradually, like the night itself is guiding them down. And when they do, nothing disappears. The cafe is still there. The rain is still there. The piano is still there. But now you experience it differently, softer, more distant, as if everything has stepped back just enough to give you space to rest. You feel the chair beneath you, steady, supportive, holding your weight without asking anything in return. You feel the table lightly under your hands, cool, still, grounding you just enough to remind you where you are. But even that begins to fade. Not completely, just less important. Your thoughts, once drifting gently, now become even quieter, fewer, slower, softer. They don't form full ideas anymore, just small impressions, brief moments of awareness that pass without needing attention, like clouds moving across a night sky you're no longer looking at. The piano continues. You hear it, but you don't follow it. The notes come and go, blending into the same calm presence as everything else. And somewhere in that calm, your body begins to feel heavier. Not uncomfortable, just deeply relaxed. Your arms rest without tension, your shoulders fully released, your breathing slow and steady. You sink just a little deeper into the chair, not physically but in feeling, like you're settling into something soft and endless. Time becomes harder to notice. Seconds stretch, minutes blur, and you don't try to keep track because there's no need. Nothing is waiting for you. Nothing is expecting anything from you. You are simply here, resting, floating somewhere between awareness and sleep. The cafe continues around you, though you barely notice it now. Maybe another person leaves. Maybe the barista moves quietly behind the counter. Maybe the rain slows even further. But none of it pulls you away from this calm because you've gone deeper. You're breathing slower still. In, out, longer pauses between each one. Your body follows that rhythm naturally, as if it knows exactly where this is going. Your mind, once gently active, now begins to quiet completely. No more stories, no more wondering, just stillness, soft, steady, endless stillness. You drift, not falling, not sinking, just drifting like a leaf on calm water, moving without effort, without direction, without needing to arrive anywhere. The piano fades slightly into the distance, or maybe you're just moving further into rest. The rain becomes almost silent. The cafe almost disappears, and all that remains is the feeling, warm, safe, quiet. Your breathing slows again, in, out, and with each breath you move a little closer to sleep. Not forced, not sudden, just natural, like the night gently guiding you forward. You don't resist it. You don't question it. You let it happen, because there is nothing else you need to do, nothing else you need to be. Just this, just here, just rest. The quiet deepens even further, so gently that you almost don't notice the moment it changes, only that, somehow, everything feels softer than before. The cafe remains around you, but it's no longer something you observe. It's something you're part of now, like the warmth, the faint light, the distant music have all slowly folded you into their rhythm. Your eyes stay closed, not tightly, not intentionally, just resting. Your breathing continues slow and steady, each inhale slightly longer, each exhale even softer than the last. In, out. There's a pause now between breaths, not forced, just naturally there. Like your body is taking its time, stretching each moment just a little further. The piano is still playing, but it feels far away, like it's coming from another room, or maybe another memory. The notes drifting in and out of your awareness without needing your attention. You don't follow them anymore. You don't follow anything. You simply rest. The chair beneath you feels softer now, or maybe you've simply let go of the last bit of tension that kept you slightly alert. Either way, you sink into it more fully. Your shoulders are completely relaxed, your hands rest without weight, even your thoughts, what little remains of them, feel distant, like echoes fading into silence. Outside, the rain has almost stopped. You can still hear it, barely. A soft occasional tap against the window, like the night whispering instead of speaking. The world is slowing down, and so are you. You exist in that space between moments now, where time feels stretched so thin it almost disappears. There's no need to think, no need to move, no need to be aware of anything specific. Your body knows what to do. It continues to relax deeper, further, without asking for permission. Your breathing becomes quieter, softer. In, out, the pauses grow longer. Your chest rises and falls gently, barely noticeable now. And with each breath, you drift a little further away from the edges of wakefulness. The café, once clear and detailed, now feels like a distant memory, a warm place you stepped into long ago. Even though you're still there, the piano fades even more, not gone, just farther. The last few notes lingering like soft ripples on still water. You don't reach for them. You let them go. Your body feels heavier now, deeply, comfortably heavy, like you're being gently held in place, supported completely. There's no tension left, no restlessness, only calm. Your mind, once drifting, now rests almost entirely. No clear thoughts, no images, just a soft, quiet emptiness that feels safe and steady. Your breathing conti, even effortless, and in that rhythm, you drift further, closer to sleep. Not suddenly, not all at once, just gradually, like the night itself is guiding you there. You feel safe, you feel warm, you feel completely at ease. And as the last faint sounds of the cafe blend into silence, you settle into that stillness completely. Nothing pulling you back, nothing asking you to stay awake. Just quiet, just rest, just the gentle natural movement toward sleep. The quiet holds you now, completely, gently, like the night itself has wrapped around you and decided not to let go. There is no effort left in you, no need to adjust, no need to notice. Even the idea of movement feels distant, unnecessary. You remain exactly where you are, not because you choose to, but because everything has already settled into place. Your breathing is slow, steady, soft. In, out. Each breath flowing into the next without interruption, without thought. The cafe, once full of quiet details, is now only a feeling. A warm space, a safe space, a place where the world softened enough for you to rest. The piano is no longer something you hear clearly. It's more like a memory of sound, a gentle echo that lingers somewhere far away. The rain, almost gone now, just the occasional drop, light, distant, fading into the night. You are aware of none of it in a focused way, only in the softest sense. Like everything around you has stepped back, giving you room to drift. Your body feels weightless and heavy at the same time, completely relaxed, completely still. Your thoughts have quieted entirely now. No more drifting ideas, no more soft stories, just calm, just silence, just rest. And in that stillness you begin to let go even more, not holding on to the moment, not holding on to the cafe, just allowing everything to fade gently into the background. Your breathing slows again, in, out, longer, softer. The pauses between each breath stretch just a little further, and you follow that rhythm without thinking, because there is nothing else to follow, nothing else to do. The night continues, but you are no longer part of its movement. You are part of its stillness, resting quietly within it. Safe, warm, calm. And as everything around you softens, fades, quiets, you drift fully into rest. The warmth of the cafe lingers like a gentle memory wrapping softly around you as the edges of the moment begin to blur. The chair beneath you feels distant now, as if you're floating just slightly above it, held not by anything physical, but by the calm that is settled deep within you. Your breathing is slow and steady, each inhale soft, each exhale even softer, like a quiet wave rolling in and out without ever disturbing the surface. There is no tension left anywhere in your body, no weight you need to carry, nothing waiting for your attention. Everything has been set down, gently, completely. The faint echo of the piano drifts somewhere far away, its notes no longer something you hear, but something you feel, soft, distant, fading. Like the last ripples in still water, the rain once steady and present has almost entirely disappeared, leaving behind only a quiet, peaceful silence. You rest within that silence now, safe, unhurried, at ease. Your thoughts are gone, replaced by a calm emptiness that feels warm and steady, like a quiet night stretching endlessly around you. There is nothing to follow, nothing to hold on to, nothing to figure out. Only rest, only stillness, only the gentle rhythm of your breath guiding you deeper and deeper. And as you continue to drift, that soft warmth remains with you, the feeling of being somewhere calm, somewhere quiet, somewhere safe, slowly carrying you into sleep, where everything is peaceful and everything is still.